Hello, good afternoon and welcome to Joy News today. I am Emefa Akosia Adeti. The bulletin is live from our studios here in Kokomlemle, Accra. We're also live on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 125. Our top stories this hour. Accra High Court issues bench warrant to arrest Director of Passport over failure to explain how a suspect on trial was issued multiple passports. Also, in his bulletin, fuel prices to further go down. We engaged the Chamber of Petroleum consumers. And also, in this bulletin, Electricity Company of Ghana to face Parliament's Energy Committee with questions over recent missing containers and power outages expected to take center stage. Would actually take you live to the Petroleum Valley Resort, where the Energy Committee of Parliament is camping and interrogating matters in the energy sector. We've got these plus business, sports and showbiz in this package. Do stay for details. Many thanks for choosing us. Joy News, independent, fearless and credible. Now first, an Accra High Court has issued a bench warrant to arrest the Director of Passport, Kwesi Asante, over failure to explain how a suspect on trial was issued multiple passports. We'll bring you that statement shortly on your screen, and it says the Director of Passport of Ghana. We just want to tell you a bit of his responsibility. He says that overseeing the processes and issuance of passports to eligible Ghanaian citizens. We just want to know him even better. Mr. Kwesi Asante as well, one of his responsibilities is developing and implementing policies and procedures related to passport issuance. He also gives us a little bit about some of his work and where and how he's been working. We'll bring you that beyond his responsibilities. But before I get to that, another responsibility is for ensuring compliance with international passport standards and regulations. I'll tell you a little bit more about Mr. Kwesi Asante and the positions that he has held previously. Charged the affairs at Ghana's embassy in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia in 2024, and as well Deputy Ambassador and Deputy Permanent Representative from June 2021 to August 2024. He's held many positions as well as Director of Operations, Passport Office from April 2020 to June 2021. And again, he was an Executive Assistant at the ECOWAS Commission from June 2028 to April 2020. Again, a counselor and head of chancery at the Embassy of Ghana in Seoul, Korea from 2009 to 2013, and also from 2006 to 2009, he worked as an assistant director at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. This includes the many titles, the many positions that he's been holding. And finally, Assistant Economic Officer, Ministry of Economic Planning and Regional Cooperation from 2001 to 2006. And so Mr. Kwesi Asante, Director of Passports, now what you must know is that there has been a bench warrant that he has been able to issue passports multiple times to a person who is standing trials. A bit later, we'll get in touch with our court correspondent, Latif, to bring us more details. But away from that, let's bring you some stories on petrol. Now, prices of the petroleum products are set to witness the biggest drop at the pumps today. This according to the Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies pricing outlook for the second pricing window for the month of May 2025. Per the guidelines, petrol is expected to go down between 6.7% and 8.8% per a liter. I'll also bring you that on your screen. And so fuel price adjustment expected decline from 6.7% to 8.8% as well. And on the back of this, we shall be engaging COPA, but fuel price and adjustments. And here are the reasons they've been citing: CD appreciation, drop in crude oil prices and prices of finished petroleum products, and We're just going to go and talk to the Executive Secretary of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, Duncan, who is criticizing oil marketing companies for failing to fully pass on recent cedi gains to consumers. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Well, I mean, before we even come to May, let's take it back into the earlier year, from January, earlier in the year. What are the primary factors contributing to the recent reduction in fuel all through till May now?
Say good afternoon to you, to your viewers. Indeed, if you recall, we began the year with the cedi exchange to a dollar at around 16.2, 16.3. In some places, 16.1. At the time, petrol was selling at around 15.65, 15.7 per liter for both products. As far as the mean price is concerned. Then you get a situation where the cedi goes on a good run and then comes to settle at around 15.8, 15.6 exchange to a dollar. Fuel prices decline to 15.4, 15.2. Then the decline with the dollar rate continues. And so once the cedi appreciates, what it means is that if I need to pay my supplier, say, $10 million, and hitherto I needed $160 million because of an exchange of 16 to $1, anytime the cedi appreciates, the value of what I would need to pay my supplier declines, which is to say that whatever I need to recoup from selling the consignment or product, I would not need as much any longer. And so that also declined. If I required $160 million to pay for a $10 million consignment back in January,
5 million liters.
As of today, I would require about 128 million Ghana cedis to be able to pay for the same $10 million consignment. So you are looking at a drop of almost 38 million Ghana cedis, which is quite significant on every $10 million consignment. Mind you, on a monthly, we are doing about 400 million USD in petroleum importation alone. And so if you do the numbers, that is quite significant. And we are not surprised that the market responded with some reduction. Unfortunately, it is becoming evident that the reductions that we could have earned, that is not what we are getting now. And as I speak with you, today being the very first day of the new window, I have just seen about 2 oil marketing companies decline on prices. And that for us is woeful. If the times were the reverse, where prices were expected to inch up or go up, you would have seen a lot of them at this point, Midday, would have come out with their prices already. I think that something is just not right.
Right. I was just also concerned because you have just hit the nail right on the head that something is just not right. But in your estimation and past experience, what would you think has accounted for the oil marketing companies not to fully pass on these reductions to customers or consumers?
Well, you cannot just blame only the oil marketing companies. They are buying from the BDC. And so where you have some of the BDCs refusing to give the commensurate reductions that you would need, then you would have the oil marketing companies also a bit hesitant to decline on pump prices. I say this on the back of the fact that, look, I have a communique here that says be informed that LPG prices effectively as follows. If you are buying on credit, 12.85. If you are paying cash, 12.50. That is the BTC rate to the GS. So 2 prices are being set here. What it is that for those oil market companies that are to buy cash, 12.50 for LPG and from, that is significantly different from those buying on 12.85. So the payment modality for the FMC would also have an impact how much they are in past. But this is where the is. Some of them will tell you they made losses years And so
okay.
that there has to be a reduction. Sometimes stagger the reduction in order that they are able to recover the loss in previous months. We do not agree with that at this point. We are saying if fuel prices are to go down to 12 points, and you say it at 13.3.
Mr. Moore, if you can just reposition just for me, it looks like your network is breaking on me, but while you do that, I will just also go to the PRO for the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, Abbas Moro. Thank you for joining us this afternoon whilst we wait for Mr. Duncan to just position himself. Are you intending to really reduce the fares? Because at least we're just learning that for this window, fuel is going to go down.
Good afternoon. We are waiting for the reduction, then we see the way forward. It hasn't been reduced, so we have very little to see. We are really waiting till the current reduction takes place. So
okay.
This is all that we can say for now.
Well, Mr. Moro, countless times I may have engaged you, if not in studio, on phone. There are days that we see some reductions, and your counter-argument will be that fuel is not the only reason, or it's not the only factor or the variable that you use in your pricing. Are you in any way assuring us that if eventually it goes down as of today or subsequently, would at least see some decrease?
I'll be wrong to say until the leadership has met and take final decision. You are aware, as I said, that yes, fuel is not the only component we use in running transport. Alongside those that will buy the other components from also came up and said, yeah, if they could also reduce some of the spare parts so that we all move forward happily. As the last time we had discussion, I told you it is only fuel which has received a little reduction, but other components that we use, even permits which were even tagged upwards, has never even been reduced, nothing.
I see.
So, where the current fuel reduction comes, our leadership
will pick up
meet,
the conversation from there.
Then we'll come up with the final decision.
Right. Thank you for talking to us. Let's see if Mr. Duncan is still back with us. Are you still with me? If you're with me, let me know what estimation or the percentage you're looking to see at the pumps in terms of decrease.
Sweetie, I would wish that Abbas does not go off. The good news is that as I speak with you, some of the OMCs have indeed gone down already. So if the GPRTU is waiting for reduction further, I can confirm that some OMCs have already reduced by as much as 32 pesos per litre already. And so at this point, whilst I be one of their major defenders, I find it unsustainable to still defend that they will not consider reducing transport fares. So they would need to go down on transport fares at the number we have. We had petrol selling from about 15.4, around 15.7, to now selling just a little above 30 Ghana. I think that the drop in these numbers cannot be wished away. It is significant. They can go down as much as 20% on food fares. And bearing in mind,
did you say 15 to 20%?
The GPR, the staff members had issued some advice to their members to reduce the cost even spare parts. And so it will be quite unsustainable for transport operators to still hide behind the cost of parts and other operational logistics to say they can't reduce transport fares. Right. That must go down and must go down immediately.
Thank you. I don't know if I still have Abbas Moro with me to at least react to this comment from COPEG. Mr. Moro, are you still with me? Are you still with me, Mr. Abbas Moro? Right. Gentlemen, thank you for talking to us. At least if you're driving, then you know that some oil marketing companies have reduced it. And so you should be seeing that as well in your purses. But away from that, the Ghana Immigration Service is cracking down on illegal migration, rounding up hundreds of undocumented migrants in Accra. The migrants include women, children, and men believed to have migrated from neighboring countries and begging on the streets of Accra. Maxwell Aklobo to witness the operation and our reports.
We are at the Obeche-Bilamte interchange, where the Ghana Immigration Service has conveyed quite some number of immigrants in the country. According to them, they said they are trying to remove the beggars from the street. And then if you can see, the Ghana Immigration Service bus is behind me right now, taking them to the headquarters. According to the immigrants, they are around just to search for food to eat.
Finding food has become a problem for us. Our husbands and relatives have been killed, and we can no longer stay in our country. We are here only to find something to eat, nothing more.
We also have some Ghanaians that are expressing appreciation to the government and the Ghana Immigration Service for the exercise.
And spend the entire day begging for money. They refuse to do any work for themselves. Even our Ghanaian mothers sell water to earn a living. If they were willing to sell water or do any kind of work, we wouldn't have a problem with them. We are truly grateful to the government and the Immigration Service for their efforts.
Reporting for Joy News, Maxwell Aklobo.
Let's talk to Michael Amokwata, Assistant Commissioner of Immigration, Head of Public Affairs. Thank you for talking to us this afternoon. And so, when did this operation start, and what are you planning to do with them?
Yeah, thank you, and good afternoon to your listeners. What are we going to do with them? After we've conducted the sweep, when we are done with the operation, we are profiling. Even currently, with the numbers that we have, that's about 2,241. And let me give you the breakdown.
Okay.
We have 384 male adults, and then 577 male children. Then we have 525 female adults, and then 755 female children.
Okay.
Currently, they are going through medical screening by the GI clinic. After that, we'll be taking through security profiling. And those who are found to be undocumented and engaged in this business of begging and other criminal activities, they will be transported out of the country to their various destinations.
So between... Right, please go on. Proceed.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Right. So between the medical attention or the medical screening and also the security checks, how many days are we looking to do that? And who takes care of them at the time that they are in your care?
Yeah, we are taking care of them by providing temporary holding areas and also food for them to eat while they are undergoing this screening. And immediately, by the close of the day, buses will begin to move to the various destinations.
What have you been discovering as the loophole as to how it looks definitely as though most of them are quite undocumented to have access to the country? What has been the gap? Yes,
we all know, and we are not taking excuse for that, that the borders remain porous. But then, quite recently, we put out a number of border patrol officers and conducting various groups at some of these unapproved groups. And in all these, yet you still find people getting their way into the country, some assisted by local border residents. Though now the residents are cooperating fully with the service. And we are continuing to engage them as much as possible to cut off assisting or aiding these foreign nationals to enter into the country.
Okay.
But then for this action that we stand today, I think it will send a strong signal to those out there that we are serious about preventing them from entering and engaging in this begging on our street. Because for some of them who have been arrested, you realize that some of Ghanaians will go in children and it has taken them out of the classroom. But that should not be the case.
So the focus is Accra. So the focus is Accra. After Accra, where are you going to be focusing on?
No, it's not just Accra, but this is the launching part. The region will also be seeing such exercises within the next day or two.
Okay.
That across all the major cities, immigration service will be contacting these troops.
And finally, would it mean that you're going to be keeping your eyes when you see the influx of them on the streets, then you conduct the soup, or you have a particular template you're going to be following or timeline you're going to be following?
Yeah, there's a timeline, but maybe I can't share. But then we may not be seeing such numbers of foreign beggars on our streets.
Right.
From now going, yes.
Thank you so much for talking to us.
You're welcome.
Away from that, the Ghana Health Service has confirmed 2 Mpox cases in the Accra metropolitan area of the Greater Accra region. Health authorities say they are working to ensure that all necessary public health measures are swiftly and effectively implemented to contain the spread of the virus. We've just been joined by Dr. Oliver Kome, Director, Ghana Infectious Disease Center. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. And so I want to understand how these 2 cases were recorded. Are they closely related?
Good afternoon, and good afternoon to all your listeners. The cases are not related. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Please proceed.
Okay, so the 2 cases are not related. So they all presented to the same facility. But they came from different communities.
But have we, in your statement earlier, which we read to our audience earlier this morning, you indicated that you have increased surveillance. Specifically, how?
So when we talk about surveillance, it's important to make sure that people are aware that this is happening. Then our healthcare workers also need to know the various signs and symptoms they need to look out for, the kind of population we should be looking out for. So these are the things we keep on saying when we say with increased surveillance.
Okay. And in various facilities, is it going to be similar surveillance, or each region would have a particular or a bespoke surveillance?
So once we have one case of Mpox, we say that there is an outbreak. So then yesterday, the National Public Health Emergency Committee met, and the regions have also been activated. All teaching hospitals have activated their centers. So it's not just one place, but across the country.
How infectious is this disease?
It's contagious in the sense that if you come into contact with the infected person's pox material or bedding, so you must have close contact with the person, with an infected person, before you will have Mpox.
Okay, and these 2 persons, what's their status as we speak?
So most of these, the 2 we have are all stable. They are currently self-isolating at home. Their lesions are not that severe.
Okay.
So they do not pose a danger to the general public.
Okay. Kindly just reiterate some of the symptoms we should be looking out for and how we can stay safe.
So typically, Mpox may present with anybody with a high-grade fever. I'm talking about fever above 38 degrees Celsius. That person may have some joint ache. That person may have some sore throat. And that may persist for close to about a few days. Then the rash may start on the face and spread down to involve all the other parts of the body. Then we have the atypical presentation, which is common in certain communities. So they tend to have a sore throat, and then they tend to have the rash in the genitalia.
So which means that beyond or before the rash, it presents itself as other diseases, would it be? Do people confuse it with malaria or any other illness?
So all the 2 we had managed themselves over the counter with malaria tablets.
Right.
Until the pox broke out, they weren't going to go to hospital.
Right. Thank you for bringing this to the attention. So subsequently, we're going to be getting some updates or education as well from you. Well, I'm certain that we've lost them, but moving on. Bono Regional Minister Joseph Adeyakwa has underscored the importance of empowering community health nurses to achieve universal health coverage. Speaking at the National Delegate Conference of Community Health Nurses in Sunyani, Mr. Kwaba assured of government's commitment to address concerns, including professional development and fair remuneration through reforms in the Reset Ghana agenda for effective healthcare delivery. Precious Samevo has more.
Members of the Community Health Nurses Association are noted as the backbone of Ghana's primary healthcare service delivery, as their services are often at the doorsteps of people in rural and underserved communities. At a two-day delegates conference at Sunyani Esufufu in the Bono region, the outgoing president of the association, Esther Frimpoma Bamfo, stressed the risk they take to make health service delivery available, accessible and affordable in all hinterlands with or without logistics. Yet the least is said about them. She called on the government to offer them incentives and honor promises.
The 20% of whatever the government should stick to his promise and provide it. Again, provide them decent accommodation to live in and work. Again, they should provide them with incentives. Incentive not only about money, but encourage them. Some of the leaders that we are working, the stakeholders, sometimes the kind of words that will come from my mouth to the community of nurses. And lastly, government should recognize community of nurses and give them scholarships so that they can also continue to further their education.
Regional Deputy Director of Public Health, Dr. Prince Kwashi, acknowledged the impact of community health nurses in achieving universal health coverage and the need to promote their welfare.
Suppose we, as a service, strengthen the role of community health nurses, Ghana can achieve USC goals. To our community health nurses, your resilience inspires us. We urge communities, traditional and opinion leaders, and policymakers to join hands to safeguard your welfare in the communities you work in. I urge you to report challenges, demand accountability, and champion your rights.
Bono Regional Minister Joseph Adeyakwa assured of the government's commitment to empowering and addressing their concerns as part of the Reset agenda.
Issues of professional development, fair remuneration, logistics, and safe working environments are crucial. It is important to note that achieving universal health coverage is not a dream. It is a goal that is within reach if we empower our health workforce. And empowering our health workforce means supporting our community health nurses, varying their contributions and providing them with the required resources and recognition they deserve. Let us remain patient with the government.
Francis Botwe was elected the association's president for 4 years at the conference themed Welfare and Contribution of the Community Health Nurse in the CHIPS in Achieving Quality Universal Health Coverage. Precious Samevo, Joy News, Sunyani.
Now, away from Sunyani, nearly 2 months after the Food and Drugs Authority ordered a recall over safety concerns, the banned Grand Chate Sangria Force is still being sold. Joy News checks reveal pubs, bars, and even provision shops continue to stock the unregistered drink. Mamavi Safa Kote reports. Read to you.
Recall and safety warning from the Food and Drugs Authority, Grand Chate Sangria Fort remains widely available in shops and pubs across Accra. The FDA had ordered a market withdrawal in March, citing violation of the Public Health Act due to lack of registration. The product's packaging, resembling children's juice boxes, poses a risk of accidental alcohol consumption, particularly among children. However, sellers say the shortage of top beer brands has driven demand for sangria as an alternative.
Beer Etono crates 135. You are not buying it 210, 200 cedis. That's the large one. And then the mini one is 300 cedis. So how much are we going to sell it? And so they are complaining. And when you are buying it, I think we don't have problem. They are attaching stuff to it. If you don't buy this, you won't get this. And it's a management, difficult. MIA. And now, $5 some day, $1. But ban sanitizer, we are not getting it for insanity price, to come down for us to get customers in Sangria and Crofoto. They buy it. They buy it a lot. That one, and then the coffee rum, it moves.
Me toy because I think whereby much more. If I say much, na me coffee no ma. Na May ya $30 so. Are you expecting me to sell it March May price? Enye ejuma March na me kotoye no. Sa price na wo say me to say the bear me so me sika enye de.
The FDA promised a stricter enforcement in its recall statement, but the continued presence of sangria on the market points to a worrying gap in the compliance and regulatory oversight.
The FDA's promise of stricter enforcement has yet to be seen, highlighting concerns over regulatory compliance.
Now, the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, is this afternoon expected to brief Parliament's Energy Committee on a wide array of issues affecting its operations. The recent scandal of missing containers and the recent power outages are expected to take center stage after the Energy Minister on Thursday painted a dark story of the sector. Let's take you now live to Petroleum Valley Resort and speak with my colleague, Parliamentary Affairs Correspondent, Kweku Asante. Kweku, first, before ECG, let's understand where VRA and We Power Authority have taken turns before the committee. This really has been in camera. What have you learned about their discussions?
Authority concluded its meetings with the Energy Committee just behind me, and currently ongoing now is the meeting with the Petroleum Authority. These are two very important assets, and they have been producing some electricity for the Electricity Company of Ghana to distribute. We know now the energy mix is mainly made up of power that is produced by the independent power producers, IPPs, and so that is there. But conversations around what exactly the opportunity is, how much power they are able to produce, and what exactly they are able to supply to the Electricity Company of Ghana is going to come up quite strongly, and that is what I'm thinking. We know that for some of these two entities, the debt that is owed them by the ECG is very huge. It is affecting their operations. They are trying to get government support to claim these resources that ECG owes them, and they are trying to court Parliament support to be able to get that. And so that is currently ongoing, especially now that a lot of IPPs are threatening to shut down. IPPs are threatening to shut down over their debt, like I mentioned. These power producers, because of the state involvement and because of how much the state has in it, the state is trying to get them on board, and that is what the Parliamentary Committee on Energy is looking at in terms of bringing on board the power they're able to produce, and ultimately lead to a point where Ghana will rely more on some of these state-funded entities.
Right, Kweku, once you're there, we're not worried at all. You bring us all the updates, including ECG and the expected program today, what's going to be happening. Thank you so much, Kweku, for bringing us update from Petroleum Valley Resort. You're watching News Today. We go for a quick one. When we come back, business, sports, and showbiz. Please stay.
It's night time for business here on Joy News Today. My name is Winston Taki, and out to our first business story. An 11-member board of directors for the Ghana Cocoa Board has been officially inaugurated with a strong call to urgently reverse the fortunes of the ailing cocoa sector. The new board is chaired by Dr. Samuel Fosu Ampofo and includes key figures such as the Minister for Finance, Dr. Kesel Atuforsen, the Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Isiama, Chief Executive Dr. Randy Abe, Alhaji Alhassan Kobina Kwansa, Vincent Opon Samoa, Deputy Minister for Trade, Samson Ahi. We have the Deputy Minister for Agriculture, John Dumelo, Alhaji Alhassan Bukari, Nana Charles Owusu, and Eric Texan. The inauguration was chaired by the Energy Minister John Jinapor, who also expressed grave concern over the current state of cocoa board. Mr. Jinapor expressed confidence in the caliber of the newly constituted board, stating that he was convinced they possess the expertise and integrity to restore the cocoa board's lost glory. Now, away from that, in a bold move to empower Ghana's micro, small and medium enterprises, the UNDP has launched the 2025 edition of the Midday Knowledge Series, focusing on navigating the regulatory environment. Speaking at the opening forum, Head of Inclusive Growth and Accountable Governance Cluster, UNDP Ghana, Edward Petrol, expressed the need for SMEs to better understand legal frameworks and embrace compliance as a pillar for growth. Yes, more.
Has launched the 2025 edition of its flagship initiative, the Midday Knowledge Series, with a forum focused on the theme Navigating the Regulatory Environment. In an interview, Edward Petrol, head of the Inclusive Growth and Accountable Governance Cluster at the UNDP Ghana, highlighted that this year's event underscores the critical role of legal and regulatory compliance in sustaining Ghana's micro, small and medium enterprises.
MSMEs in Ghana, we understand, contribute very strongly to the Ghanaian economy. It's dominated mainly by women and young people, and they are engine of growth in Ghana. So we at UNDP, with our mantra not to leave anyone behind, are very happy to invest in MSMEs, for them to sustain their businesses, for them to create jobs. That is why we are in the business of supporting MSMEs. Before we came to doing this work, we've invested a lot of time and energy in doing research and analysis around MSMEs and their contributions. Through this research on the MSME ecosystem, we understand clearly the key challenges that they face. Access to information is one of the key things we identified, and through that information gap we spotted, we came up with this series called the Midday or the Knowledge Series. As part of our support to MSMEs, we're going very digital. We are launching what we call the Digital Gateway.
Among the main voices at the forum was Sylvia Fafali-Oru, Chief Executive of Farvish Enterprise. As both a manufacturer and mentor to emerging business leaders, she highlighted the program's practical relevance to real business needs.
This program is quite timely because it, number one, reminds us of what is required of us when it comes to regulatory compliance. And also, I really like the platform on which we are on, where the regulators are invited for SMEs to ask questions that bothers them a lot. From the standpoint, I also mentor and I coach SMEs, young startups and innovators, and it's also a good platform for me to remind myself of some of the important information I will be divulging to them in the future.
For others like Sarah Yebi Ekufuado, Chief Executive of Yebi's Fabrics Ghana, this was her first time experience that could change the trajectory of her business.
This is actually my first time of coming for such a program, and I must say that it has really helped me a lot. There are so many things I learned today that I never knew even existed in this country. In about 5 years, I am very positive that my business would have several branches all across the country.
By promoting regulatory awareness, the UNDP's Midday series is equipping MSMEs with the tools to grow sustainably and stay compliant in today's business environment. Rosilla Calistego's report read to you.
The UNDP Midday Knowledge Series offers opportunity for SMEs. That is what we have for you today on the Join Us Today. We have more business updates at 1 p.m. on the marketplace. My name is Winston Taki. Up next is Sports and Showbiz. Stay tuned.
Muftau Nabila Abdullah here with sports on Joy News today. Ampim Dakar ladies are targeting a fifth title in the Women's Premier League as they come up against Police Ladies later this weekend. My colleague Lawrence Bedu visited their training grounds and has details in this report.
The stage is set for the ultimate showdown. Experience versus ambition. Legacy against hunger. Ampim Dakar ladies, 4-time champions and queens of consistency, face off against Police Ladies, the surprise package of the season in their first ever Women's Premier League final. The Women's Premier League in Ghana has grown into a fierce battleground of talent and tenacity, a symbol of the rising tide of women's football across the nation. And this final, it's more than a match, it's a defining moment. At their training base, Ampemdakwa ladies exude a calm confidence. This isn't new territory for them. Their journey to the final has been marked by tactical discipline, team chemistry, and big game mentality.
From the beginning of the season, we know where we usually come, and then we get prepared towards that we know we will qualify to the finals. So we started from the scratch, and by God's grace, we have get to this end.
Their opponents, Police Ladies, would also be hoping to win the Women's Premier League for the first time in their history. My colleague Lawrence Bedu once again has details from their training grounds.
It all comes down to this: one game, two fierce rivals, and 90 minutes to etch their name into Ghanaian football history. This weekend, the Malta Guinness Women's Premier League serves up a blockbuster final. Police Ladies, the disciplined battalion, face the past queens, Ampemdakwa Ladies. And the mood in the Police Ladies camp, laser focused. When I walked out of here to spend time with Police Ladies in Tesano, where boots met with purpose, every pass echoed one thing: redemption.
We are relaxed. Yeah, we've learned from previous encounters, previous seasons, that you don't have to be test. Of course, what we do here every day, what we have been doing in the league, is the same thing that we have to do in the final. So if we consider the final to be an extraordinary game, we find ourselves wanting. So I think in the past, due to lack of experience, for myself as a coach, that was my first time I find myself in such a situation. Now I have 2 finals behind me. This is the 3rd one. So I think we are going into this game much more relaxed, much more aware, much more conscious, much more experienced, with a level of knowledge due to the fact that we have played into consecutive finals in the FA Cup. So we will be much more ready, comparatively.
It's been a season of greats for Police Ladies. After falling short in the final of the FA Cup last year, they are freeloaded, and it shows. With just 1 loss all season and a defensive record that speaks of structure, they have earned their place in the final, a stage they have been chasing for years.
Up next is Showbiz.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Showbiz segment with me, Jacqueline and Suma Yabwa. So our first story today, when it comes to rap, he's not just chasing trends, he's building legacies. Ghanaian rapper Lyrical Joe, known for his annual lyrical marathon on every 5th August, has taken things up a notch with the release of his latest album titled I Am. And no, it's not just another playlist filler. LJ says it's a full body of work meant to speak to the soul and not just the charts. We have more in the following report.
Enter.
The album Listening in Accra, fans and fellow creatives came through not just to vibe but to witness what Lyrical Joe calls his most intentional project yet. With 16 tracks on I Am, the rapper says his focus isn't on what's trending but what's timeless. He told us that while the fan base is diverse and dynamic, he doesn't bend to pressure. He would rather drop impacts than noise.
When I'm doing an album, right, I'm not focusing on trendy songs or whatever people want to call it. I am basically focusing on song people can sleep with, wake up with, leave with. Basically, that's how I come about when it comes to album. And people love it. I mean, till now, anytime my reports come, I'm looking at my, like, what's going on in my catalog and everything. So I Am, right, it's basically me taking accountability for everything. Like waking up one day in the morning and saying that, look, you know what? I am tired of explaining myself. Whatever you see me as is what I am. I don't explain myself to God, but what God sees me as is what I am.
Well, it looks like Chris Brown's UK tour has taken an unexpected detour straight into police custody. The R&B superstar, known for serenading fans with tracks like Under the Influence and Run It, is now facing a not-so-smooth situation. He's been arrested in Manchester and charged with grievous bodily harm with intent over an alleged bottle attack at a nightclub in London in 2023.
I don't know which way is up, which way is down.
You thought it was over?
Chris Brown was picked up by police at a hotel in Manchester in the early hours of Thursday. The alleged assault, a bottle attack on music producer Abe Dial at Tape nightclub in Mayfair, London, way back in February 2023. Mr. Dial told The Sun that Brown not only hit him with a bottle, but also kicked things up a notch literally by punching and kicking him while he was on the floor. Dial was hospitalized and had to use crutches after. The Crown Prosecution Service says Brown, now 36, has been charged under Section 18 of the Offences Against the Person Act. He remains in custody and is expected to appear before the Manchester Magistrates Court on Friday. Chris Brown is currently on a UK tour, but this time is not just the music making headlines. From Run It to Run-ins with the law, will this court case derail Chris Brown's tour?
I know your girl wanna lay with me. I took her to the bay with me. Got them white girls like Lady Gaga.
All right, that's all for the showbiz segments with me, Jacqueline and Sama Yabua. All right, over to you, MFA Akusiadeti.
Well, thank you for bringing us updates. And I know that you want to have my full attention on Chris Brown.
Yes.
I don't know what's going on with the young man, but let's put him here. We'll discuss him another time. I've been getting some gist about Cassie Ventura. PDD and all of that.
Yeah, so yesterday she finally took the stand. That was the last day on the stand yesterday. And Didi's lawyers questioned her in the stand, and a lot of gory details that I don't even know if I can say it on TV. But she said a lot. So whatever thing you've been seeing on social media, because it's in camera, we have most of the international reporters just coming out to report what they hear inside the courtroom. So it's a lot. The whole freak-offs and all that is actually true. And the fact that, according to her, when they dated for a while, they took a break. They went out on a date, which was supposed to be like a comeback sort of thing. He took her home, just to accompany me home. When they got there, Didi raped her. Yes, that was the last. Yeah, I mean, they had broken up. So a lot of gory details coming up. Didi forced her to have sex with multiple guys, a whole lot. Yeah.
My goodness, and I really wonder how one woman can really come out of all of that safe.
Considering the fact that she also takes a stand pregnant, like heavily pregnant now.
Oh, she's pregnant?
Yeah, she is. Heavily pregnant right now. Oof. That's like a tough woman there.
And so we can safely say that Chris Brown, he has anger issues.
He has! With Rihanna. This is not the first time. This is like the fourth time. Yeah.
Well, yeah. thank you. Yeah, Konkonsa Jackie, she does extremely very well with it, but thank you so much.
You're welcome.
But a big thank you as well for joining us today on the bulletin. I am MFA Akosia Adeti. She's Jacqueline and Sumaya. Well, we'll see you on Monday, but do stay safe throughout the weekend and still stick with us here on the Joy News channel. Whilst you wait, though, there's more news on myjoyonline.com. Thank you so much for watching.